Well, let's see some real ICM pressure at work. Look at what happens when it folds to the small blind. With chip EV, the small blind can jam with 51% of hands, and the big blind's response is to call with 32% of hands. And if you think that's jamming kind of wide, well, just keep in mind that we are talking about an M9 stack, and with only one player to beat, if we use our power numbers, we only need a PN of 9 or greater, and that's exactly what this range here reflects. Set it to ICM, and have a look now. Does this surprise anyone? If you're new to ICM, or even for those that are kind of familiar with it, you might be surprised to see that the small blind can now jam with any 2 cards in an ICM situation. Now that is significant, and it highlights just how much ICM affects strategy. But as I mentioned, this assumes the big blind will correctly only call with 6.6% of hands. Fairly presumptuous, unless we're dealing with a decent tournament player. In fact, if the big blind was a fish, and we anticipated them calling with, say, top 30% of hands, since they never believe the small blind, now this guy's been pushing me around, and now he thinks I'm going to fold my big blind. I'm going to snap his face off. By clicking on the small blind as hero to see the calculation, we can see the small blind goes from any 2 to only jamming with top 16% of hands. So it's really important to note that. An incredible shift once again in strategy. Why? Because the effect of the big blind calling too loosely